It's my great pleasure to welcome you in Egypt. And I was keen to have the meeting only with the media, that you feel free to say all what you want. Without any professionals with us, please feel free to ask any question, and I'll be very glad to answer. I haven't been to your lovely country, but I had the honor to welcome your president during his last visit last October, and with his spouse, and was honored to be accompanying him during his stay in Egypt, and I enjoyed very much the discussion with him. And he was passionate about history and archaeology, and we had a very exciting tours and discussion. So I'm yours if you have any questions. Please.
Diana Dumitru from Business News. So we were just talking about the project that you have about developing several areas. My question was, how do you balance development with preservation here in Egypt?
By preservation, you mean the archaeological sites?
Yes. And another question, if I should ask it now.
Please.
Do you see ecotourism as having a future here in Egypt as soon as possible?
Okay. So for the first question, any other questions?
No.
For the first one, as you mentioned in your question, Egypt is witnessing now wonderful development projects everywhere in Egypt, but with one condition: to preserve our heritage. We are building a new history, and it's not acceptable to destroy our heritage. And you can witness that during the last few years, Egypt opened more than 20 museums and more than 100 archaeological sites. Egypt is very proud with its past and future, and there is no affrontation between the development and the preservation of archaeological sites. I'm Minister of Antiquity before being Minister of Tourism and Antiquity since March 2016, and I had the honor and pleasure to open restoration projects in temples, in Greco-Roman temples, in Islamic monuments, Christian monuments, Jewish monuments, and modern palaces, and more than 20 museums. And we are building the Grand Egyptian Museum, which will cost more than $1.2 billion. So our heritage is a priority, and we are very proud of it. And the two events that we organized last year, the Mummies Parade and the Luxor Avenue ceremony, confirm that we are very proud of this huge and great past. And we are asked for any development project anywhere in Egypt, and we have to give a written approval before any project. So we never allow, as Ministry of Tourism and Antiquity, to destroy or to threaten our heritage. So be sure that we are very willing to enhance the development project, but we are preserving our heritage. For the ecotourism, Egypt is hosting next November the COP27, and green now is not a decision, it's not a luxury anymore, it's a must. And we launched with the Minister of Environment 2 years ago a campaign entitled Ecotourism, and we issued many ministerial decrees during the last few weeks and months to oblige all hotels in Egypt to become green. And all hotels in Sharm el-Sheikh before the COP has to have a certificate that they are green before the COP27, and the other governorates will follow. And we are working closely with the Ministry of Environment to preserve our natural heritage, like we are preserving our archaeological sites, because we do believe that tourism has to be sustainable, so we have to preserve this natural heritage that we do have. Egypt has more than 30 natural protectorates. In Egypt, we have more than 2,500 kilometers of coasts. We have thousands of fishes and birds. So we have to protect this for next generations. So they are tourism and ecotourism, I think they are compatible. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Greg Bute. I'm travel journalist for Cațavenci, a weekly satirical magazine in Romania, printed, all nation distribution. I have a lot of questions, but I will start with the near past. These 2 years we've been together in this conundrum. It was the pandemic, and I want to ask you, how did pandemic affect tourism in Egypt in terms of number of tourists, comparing with, of course, 2019? And what were the measures that you took to help the sector during this difficult period? Thank you for the moment, but I will return with other questions.
In your question, you were referring to 2019, because it was the highest revenue in the tourism industry in Egypt, with more than 13 million tourists, with a revenue more than $15 billion. And we started 2022, January, February, were 8% higher than January, February 2019. So we were very optimistic, and suddenly by end of February, COVID started to appear in Egypt and in the whole world. And 19th of March 2020, we closed our airports, our hotels, our museums, archaeological sites, restaurants, like the whole world did. And during more than 3 months and a half, we worked seriously on the capacity building, in the establishing of the precautionary measures that we did with the Ministry of Health, with the Hotel Association in Egypt, with the Ministry of Civil Aviation. We resumed the domestic tourism mid-May, only 8 weeks after we stopped the tourism, with 25% capacity maximum for the hotels and the restaurants. Then 1st of July, we opened the inbound tourism with 50% capacity, only for South Sinai and Red Sea. 1st of September, we opened the Nile Valley. So we take it really gradually. We had a wonderful last quarter of 2021, and they were almost exactly the same number of tourists as the last quarter of 2019. So I can say that we recovered 100% during the last 3 months of 2021. And this, I think, it was a wonderful achievement, and it shows a confidence from the government, from the tourists, from the tour operator, that Egypt is serious, Egypt is respecting its tourists and visitors, and I think that encouraged the tourists to come back to Egypt. And it's something really exciting to see that Romanian tourists, their number was doubled in 2021 than 2019. So it is one of the source markets that showed a very big interest to Egypt. They were among the first to come back after the resumption. We welcomed more than 210,000 tourists from Romania versus less than 100 in 2019. Because the Romanian tourists love heritage, love Christian monuments, Islamic monuments, archaeological sites, museums, and of course the Sun and Sea that we have in South Sinai and the Red Sea area. In 2021, the last quarter was amazing, but once again, after the appearance of Omicron, we witnessed another slowdown in numbers during January, February, and then the crisis in Eastern Europe, what happened, of course, 24th of February, and the crisis between Russia and Ukraine. But the numbers now are quite good, and it's very strange, but our number of tourists now, during the last month, are better than January, February. We lost 2 main source markets, Russia and Ukraine. They were ranked 1 and 2 since the resumption of the Russian tourism in August 2021. But we have other source markets, among them Romania, and mainly Western Europe, like Germany, England, Italy, France, from the Gulf area, especially Saudi Arabia, USA. So the numbers now are quite good, and they are better than what we expected when the crisis between Russia and Ukraine started. For the measures, I think that we did like the whole world. We did measures in the flights, in the airports, in the hotels, in the restaurants, in the resorts, in the archaeological sites and museums. These precautionary measures were updated, I think, weekly, like your country, like everywhere, to respond to the fast change that happened during these 2 years, this nightmare which is called COVID, since February 2020. But I think now, and I'm realizing that the whole world decided to survive and to live. And this is very clear in all the decisions of all the governments, that they are opening their borders, they are lifting many restrictions, because financially, I think the whole world cannot survive with closing the border and the complete lockdown that what happened in some countries. So we are continuing to welcome the tourists with very high safety measures. We were very supportive to the sector, because as you know, the tourism industry, it's a private sector business. So we supported the hotel owners, the restaurants, and we gave them many loans from the central bank with the guarantee from the Ministry of Finance. And we issued 2 laws to respect the personnel working in the hotels and the tourism industry. And the proof of the success of the support, that once we resumed, we were able to welcome as much tourists as before the crisis without any infrastructure problem, because we supported so much the private sector, and we are continuing to support the private sector, because tourism, of course, is a very important industry and a very important source of hard currency to Egypt, and we have more than 1 million persons working directly and indirectly in this industry. And we have a very experienced staff, so we have to keep him and to train him and to do a lot of capacity building programs. Egypt was hosting last week the Middle East Committee of the UNWTO, and our theme of the conference was the human being, the awareness for the children, for the university, for the training of the people working in the tourism industry, for the people living in the community surrounding the archaeological sites and museums.
Okay. So the next question, it will be about promotion, because in Romania we try to increase incoming, and we try to compare our strategy in a way of attracting tourists in Romania with other countries that are leaders in tourism, you know. And the question is, how do you promote yourselves outside Egypt to increase incoming? Is the process still ongoing? Do you have a strategy like this for a couple of years, 5 years, 10 years? I don't know.
During 2021, we signed a contract with a Canadian-British consortium who prepared a strategy for the tourism in Egypt for the coming years. And our slogan will be Egypt is alive. They are trying to show Egypt as a vibrant destination, very proud of its history, but a young and a powerful country looking to the future at the same time. Of course, we are doing mega events, like the 2 events that we organized last year, the Mummies Parade and the Luxor event. And of course, we are doing campaign internally and abroad in our main source markets. We are inviting influencers and journalists from all over the world. We are organizing fan trip from all over the world. And I think my colleague Amri can give you more information about his strategy and how he sees the near future in the promotion of Egypt. Of course, we are supporting our partners in the tourism sector. We are continuing our incentive program for the flights. It was extended until 30th of April 2023, that we can sell the tourism winter in winter, starting from now, we are doing special fees for the handling and the ground service in the Egyptian airports. So I think Mr. Amr can add something about his campaign.
Yeah, as His Excellency said, and as I said before, we have a new strategy, communication strategy, which we are working currently on the creative side of it and the advertising campaigns. We're planning it. It should come in 3 to 4 months' time from today. We're actually we have a business-to-business promotion plans, like co-marketing campaigns with tour operators in the source markets that we can run, so we help the tour operators promote their products to Egypt. That's one, and we do it with the airlines as well. Co-marketing plans with airlines, so your airline can come and we can make a joint promotion. On the business side as well, we have, on the consumer side, we invite influencers, bloggers, journalists in tourism, so they can actually, this is more stronger, this is for people to people, that kind of communication. They come and experience Egypt, as I said before, and go off the beaten track and convey this kind of experience to their followers in their home countries. Plus, of course, the social media usage. We're now developing our website, a whole new website, and the social media platforms of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, everything. I think in 14 languages. So we can work closely with Romanians, our partners, to develop a Romanian tailor-made content of that context. So we're working both on consumer communication and on business-to-business communication. And of course, we're open to any ideas that can help us and help you promote Egypt in the Romanian market. We can do that, of course.
And of course, you are doing a lot of infrastructure projects, especially on the roads, the railways connecting the Red Sea and the Nile Valley, and new flights between Sharm el-Sheikh and Luxor, and very soon between Hurghada and Aswan. The new railway which will be connecting the Red Sea and the Mediterranean area. I think all of this will change the map of tourism in Egypt. We do believe that we have wonderful beaches and water activities, but we have unique heritage and sites. And we have to offer a complete product, combining sun and sea with culture and heritage. I do believe that it's one of the reasons of the merge of the two ministries, because it used to be two ministries. And at the end of December, they merged the tourism and the antiquity. I think that one of the reasons is to offer to the world a unique and complete product, combining the sun and sea and the beaches with Luxor, Aswan, the Valley of the Kings, Abu Simbel, the Grand Egyptian Museum very soon. And I think that will be very competitive if we offer this complete product with affordable prices. And coming to the prices, in order to assure a high quality service to our clients, we established, starting from our last November, a minimum pricing for the hotels in Egypt. So it's $28 for the 4 stars hotels and $40 for the 5 stars hotel. I think it's very cheap prices, but it's at least a minimum pricing to allow a good quality of service to our tourists.
Hello, my name is Adrian Boyoglu from GoNext magazine. I have 2 questions for you. First of all, travel agencies like Bonjour International or Flash Tour Egypt were really helpful, and they've done an amazing job promoting your country. We've come here as journalists, but we came with travel agencies as well, and they were just amazing, providing everything that we asked. And I wanted to ask you, how can the government help journalists and maybe travel agents in a way to promote the country even better? I know there are restrictions in filming with a drone, or maybe getting permits to film near the pyramids with a professional camera and other stuff like that. how can we get help from the government to make our job easier and promote the country in the same way? This is the first question. And the second question, I know that there are some places like public islands, for example, the island of Geftun, that are still closed to the public. Do you have any plans on opening all those places that were closed during the pandemic? And if so, when do you think that will happen? Thank you.
To help the journalists, I do believe strongly in the power of media and journalists to promote my country. And my media advisor, Naveen, will be giving you now our new fees to film everywhere in Egypt, all archaeological sites and museums. And you will see they are very low prices with packages if you want to film for 1 day, or 1 week, or 2 weeks, or 1 month. So I think it's easier than ever, but you have to get some clearance, and my media advisor, I think she's helping all the international media every day to get this clearance. But inside our archaeological sites, you will see now the prices are very low. So you can film today in the pyramids after paying the fees, and it's very affordable. Okay. For the journalists, and by the way, we invite the international and the local media to all our events. I don't remember the number, but Naveen can tell me how many media representatives from the world were present for the Mummies Parade.
500.
How many for the Luxor event?
400.
The numbers were not very high because of the COVID. But we welcomed around 500 people from Egypt and abroad to film the Mummies Parade and to film the Luxor event. We do believe that we have to get use of your power, because we are paying money to promote ourselves abroad. So if you are coming from abroad to film, we have to support you. So this one. For the public islands, as far as I know, Geftun is open for the tourists. Yes. And we have 47 islands in the Red Sea that tourists can go to do snorkeling or to do to swim in this area in the Red Sea. 47 islands. They cannot stay on the island, but they can enjoy the surrounding area.
As it was said before, Romanians have chosen Egypt as one of their favorite outgoing destination of 2021. How about Egyptians? It's just a curiosity, what's their favorite destination when they travel abroad, you know? And maybe we invite them to come to see Romania, because, as my colleague said, it's a very beautiful country. Thank you.
I'd be happy to lead a delegation from Egypt going to visit Romania.
We will definitely welcome you with the best possible thing.
Sure. We'll be very glad to welcome tour operators and travel agents from your country to meet their counterparts here in Egypt and to work on Egyptians going to Romania, and I'm sure that they will love your country.
But specifically, what top of their outgoing destinations, if you can tell us?
They go mainly to the Gulf area,
okay,
Saudi Arabia and Dubai, and they go to Western Europe and to USA.
Okay.
Mainly.
So maybe Romania next.
We'll be very good next
Next destination of the year, 2022 or 2023. You are welcome anytime in Romania. As my colleague said, it's a beautiful country and
sure.
It's worth discovering.
All the Romanians I met in my life are amazing.
Okay, thank you so much.